Today we have a special guest speaker, Dennis Cleary, who's the principal for Cleary Energy. Dennis is a veteran in long-term care. He's even been president of our Connecticut affiliate in the past, and was a provider, an administrator, and a consultant in his 40-year career, and started Cleary Energy several years ago. Now, Cleary Energy came to us from our membership. We had members who were very positive about their experiences working with Cleary Energy to save them money on their utility bills. And before I turn it over to Dennis, I'm going to give a very sort of lay explanation of what he does. And that is, they go in, Cleary Energy goes in and examines utility bills from our member facilities, and they do an audit of those bills and identify areas where providers, our members, are being overcharged by the utilities. And this happens pretty frequently. So actually, in Dennis's experience, about 75% of our buildings are being overcharged for their utilities. These are dollars that are flowing out the door that don't have to be. And how that happens is through different taxes, different charges, different tariffs that utilities inadvertently or possibly even purposefully charge people, and you just pay the bill. And the member experience has 4 to 8% savings on their utilities, and for many of our members, what they talked, how that translated to them in real dollars, was from $8,000 to $12,000 a year savings. So that's monies that they can use in other ways. And Dennis will tell you this, but this is really kind of one of those no-risk things from our members. They sign an agreement with Cleary Energy. They turn over the utility bills for 1 month, and Cleary Energy goes in, works with the utility companies, audits them, and recoups savings for them. If there is no refund, Cleary Energy does not charge our members anything. And I think that's also significant. So they do all this work, but if the member is being charged the right amount of money, they don't pay anything to Cleary Energy because there was no savings. And so that is a real member benefit for our members. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't looked at Cleary Energy, to do that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dennis to tell you a little more about the program and give you some ins and outs of how the program actually works. Dennis?
Thank you, David, and I appreciate the opportunity to go through our services. I know we've worked together for about 8 months, vetting all of our references and whatnot so that we can have a good partnership with AHCA NCAL. So great to have the affiliates on board, because that's where the work really gets done, in particular for the partnership program, because only if you reach out to members and recommend it and promote it does it work, both for AHCA and NCAL as well as all the affiliates. So I am Cleary Energy, and I'm here to explain to you how I can save you money. A little bit about us, and David explain some of this. We are recently a preferred provider with AHCA NCAL, and we have a members-only program for utility bill audits. I am the principal. I have 40 years of history in long-term care, the past 7 of which has been specializing in energy consulting for skilled nursing facilities, assisted living, and senior living facility, communities. What is a bill audit? Bill audit basically is an analytical process designed to save you money on your utility bills. Many states allow retroactive recoupment of any overcharges that we find for up to 3 to 4 years. all retroactive credits and savings, and I think this is kind of important for your members. All of the refunds and credits go directly to the facility. We don't touch any dollars that is due to the facilities. It goes to them, and then we bill for the appropriate portion. Our average is 4 to 8% customer savings, and again, if you kind of look to the left of the slide, it's a pretty large list of utilities that we actually audit, from electric and gas to propane and heating fuel, water and sewer. Believe it or not, we find a whole bunch of money, diesel fuel and telecom as well. And if we don't find any savings, we don't charge anything. So it is a shared savings agreement, and we'll give you more specifics on that as we go along. So it's a members-only program, and how does it work? Because that's what folks are going to ask you. So we have members' benefits. We look for retroactive refunds, which go directly to the facility. We have shared savings agreements. We are now nationwide as a partner with AHCA. And how do your members really get started? So we try to streamline all the systems to keep it simple. What we need to begin an audit is company information sheet, utility audit agreement, a release of information, and a company checklist. And we'll explain more about those. So for company information, we need pretty much basics. We try to not have to be emailing back 3 and 4 times to get information from members. So we need the typical corporate name, the DBA, because there's many of those times it's different, a person to contact on behalf of the facility or facilities, a location, facility-specific information, tax ID numbers, are you profit or nonprofit, number of beds or units, and what type of licensing you currently hold. There's an audit agreement, and we'll explain more about that, but it's between Cleary Energy and the company. It's a shared savings agreement. Cleary Energy does not get paid unless savings are recovered from the customer. There's a release information we ask the customer to sign. It's an agreement allowing Cleary Energy to act on their behalf when dealing with the utilities. An important part is it makes it easy for clients' business offices so that they only have to supply 1 month of utility invoice information. You don't have to go back and do a big historical or anything of that nature. With the release information and 1 month of bills, we can deal directly with the utility to get additional information on your behalf. There's a company checklist that is part of that sign-up package. And again, that's just to try to cut down with constant communication to find additional things. So there's an audit agreement as part of that checklist. There's a release information, which we spoke about. There's a company information, which we spoke about. For those that are nonprofit, we need your designation letter from IRS. A copy of any sales tax exemption certificate. Normally that's applicable to not-for-profits. Any third-party supply contracts. Many folks have a utility that delivers the electricity but might have a third-party supplier that actually provides the generation. 1 month of electric bills and 1 month of electric supply, gas utility and gas suppliers. Those are the key ones that we start with because we don't want to overwhelm anybody with requests for information. That's where normally the biggest dollars are found. And then once we get all those into our system and do a review of those, then we'll ask for additional requests of information for telecom and some of those other bills that we can find some additional dollars for you. Basically, that's the information we need to get started. We're ready to go basically with those 4 documents in place and ready to start reviewing your particular bills. And a couple of things. Every single state has different regulations and statutes when it comes to utility bills and how they're approved by state regulatory agencies, and we research each state that we have a member and dig into all of their statutes to find the best savings. Is all we do is these audits for skilled facilities, assisted living, and senior housing. That's our specialty. I have, 43-year history as a long-term care administrator. I understand how buildings operate, and now having specialized in the energy audit business, that's what we do, and we're good at it. We've saved a lot of facilities a lot of money, and we certainly appreciate the opportunity to continue to communicate with the state affiliates through AHCA, NCAL. I'm willing to take any questions if that's appropriate at this time. But
Nita, will you go ahead and open up the lines for questions?
Yes, I will. One moment. And just a reminder, everyone, your phone line will be open. So if you have a mute button on your telephone that you'd like to utilize, you may use that. But please, if you can, just do what you are able to make sure any background noise is not coming in from your room. And then, Dave, we also do have a couple of chat questions that have come in as well.
Okay, great. So why don't we go to the chat questions?
Sure. So our first one is, does this replace the APPI energy contract, or is it two different contracts?
That's a very good question, and it does not replace APPI Energy. APPI Energy is a energy or utility electricity procurement program, and that's very different than the services that Cleary Energy offers. Cleary Energy audits the bills that come through the utilities, and it gets complex. APPI Energy, for those states out there, there's actually a relatively small number of states that are deregulated for purchasing electricity. Most of those are in the Northeast corridor, so really Washington, D.C., northward, and a couple of states, one in Illinois is a state that has that, Texas is a state. The other thing APPI procures is, in essence, kind of wholesale, is natural gas, and there's many more states for that. That is not the services that Cleary Energy offers. I think an important thing also from a lay perspective to understand is Cleary Energy, this is not an energy audit where they come out and look at your building, look at where you could save money by having different light bulbs, different lighting fixtures, that kind of thing. This is an audit of the actual bills that the utility companies turn over. So hopefully that clarifies the difference between APPI and Cleary Energy. APPI remains intact for those states, and we have several APPI partner states on the phone today. So if you have any questions, additional questions, I could be happy to explain following the call.
Great. And we do have some additional chat questions, but just want to remind everyone your phone lines are open, so feel free to just chime in. You can engage in open discussion. So I guess we'll see if anyone has anything they'd like to call out, and then we can, of course, revert back to the web questions. All right. Thank you. Our next one, is there a flyer or marketing piece I can email out to our members?
Yes. When we launched the program, Cleary Energy provided us with a flyer that's tailored to AHCA and NCAL members. We also have other tools that are on the AHCA clearinghouse, but I can send those individually to any state upon request. It's a kind of a Q&A, talking points for state execs and staff, excuse me, so that they can explain the program, and other materials that are available, like articles and that sort of thing. There's also a letter, recommendation letter, that's addressed to AHCA and NCAL members from our President and CEO, Mark Parkinson, who's a huge fan of the Cleary Energy program and the savings potential that it can have for members.
All right. Thank you. We got another one. How often is an audit recommended?
Dennis, do you want to take that one?
I certainly will. Our basic audit agreement spans 3 to 4 years, so that's about the time frame if you were going to need another audit. If you've had an audit by somebody else, I would start right away. Because of our specialty in this arena, folks that have had audits 6 months ago by other companies who claim to be cost savings, we'll pick up from where they left off and come in and actually find the money. So if you previously had one not with us, I would say immediately. If you've had one previously with us, I'd say a 3 to 4 year cycle is pretty much common.
Thanks, Dennis. And Brittany, I see your message, and I will send you marketing materials this afternoon after the call.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. And as of now, Dave, those are the only questions in the chat box.
I do have just a couple of other things. If you have one more minute with the affiliates, is just, I don't know exactly who is on the call from what states, but I'm going to just give you a short list of the 8 states where we have absolutely found the best savings for AHCA and NCAL members, so that if anybody is on the line, you're at the top of the list for savings for your members. One is Massachusetts, Texas, Florida, Colorado, Connecticut, Wisconsin, Kansas, and Oklahoma. So those are kind of the top tier if it's affiliates really looking to drive savings for members. Those would be the first people we'd love to be signing up, because that's where historically we have found the largest amount of savings for members.
Thanks, Dennis. Are there any additional questions for Dennis? All right. Well, Dennis, thank you for being on the call today. We really appreciate your time and information about the Cleary Energy Services Program. Dennis is always happy to answer questions. So if you're from a state, say that he didn't list, it does not mean there's not substantial savings there for your members. And if you want to talk specifically about your state, Dennis's email is on the screen. I also have it, and we'd be happy to connect you. And as I mentioned, for any states who are interested in partnership agreements, marketing materials, or anything of the sort, just let me know, and I'll be happy to get those to you. So with that, Dennis, have a great day, and we really appreciate you being on the call.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.